Can you hear me? What did you say? No, that session is over. They said they came for data structures and algorithm. I'm speaking on the role of AI. That's the session that is supposed to happen before. Yes. They just announced my session there now. So maybe you can tell them that this is this section. And those that are not for the session should go. Okay. Okay, sorry. The session for algorithms has ended. This is like the next session on AI in technical writing. So if you are interested in the session for AI in technical writing, you can like wait. And if you are not like interested, you can like go to other sections. So I'm going to like proceed. Yeah. So I'll be speaking on the role of artificial intelligence in technical writing. How is enhancing human craft and not replacing it. So I'm Joel Olawanle. Please, can you who is controlling the slides? You can like move to the next slide. So I'm Joel. So all over the internet, you'd be hearing AI, artificial intelligence, and you're like, um, is it going to replace me? Maybe as a developer, as a technical writer, it's sounding like a threat. Please, like next slide, please. It's looking like a threat. You go to LinkedIn, you go on Twitter, you go on YouTube, and all what you are saying is like AI is going to replace this, AI is going to replace that, AI is going to replace that. And so we are just going to like do a brief overview and like see what artificial intelligence is, see what technical writing is, see the role of artificial intelligence in technical writing, and like try and balance things and like we know our position, where we stand, and what we should do so that we can like stand out because like literally we need to stand out if not like literally what we think artificial intelligence would definitely like take over your jobs if you are actually like giving the same output that AI offers. You understand? So I'm Joel. I'm a front-end engineer and a technical. Next slide, please. I'm Joel. I'm a technical writer and editor at Kingstar. I work at Free Code Camp also, and I write for a couple of companies. The chapter lead for Oscar Okitibokpa. So next slide. So what is artificial intelligence? Next slide, please. Artificial intelligence actually refers to systems that are built to perform tasks. And literally, these tasks actually on a normal day should require human intelligence. But this is why we have artificial intelligence. These systems are fed with data, like large sets of data, and literally they can think and act like humans. They can perform, they can interact with humans through the likes of NLP, natural language processing, and like this is artificial intelligence, and it's something that is trained on large amount of data, so it can actually perform large amount of thinking, and it can perform very important tasks like technical writing. You tell it based on the prompt you give it, it actually gives you very awesome output. You tell it to do this and it's doing that. So, and technical writing, I know you are very much aware of technical writing. Next slide, next slide. Technical writing is like writing detailed oriented information that this can be like how to guides, user documentations and the likes like that. So that's like what technical writing is all about. Then like we're trying to know what are the roles of artificial intelligence in technical writing. Now this is like something that is very unique because artificial intelligence can actually enhance your craft as a technical writer. You can like move like 3 times. It can enhance productivity and efficiency based on the prompt you are giving. Like with the likes of ChatGPT and the likes of Bard, you give it a prompt and you're like, do this, give me a detailed outline, and it's giving you a very structured outline out of like all of a sudden, and you're telling it write a complete article based on this outline that you have given me, and it's giving you a very complete article, and then you start asking yourself questions like, then what's the essence of a technical writer, or what's the essence of me as maybe somebody who is just writing articles, and you begin to be like, okay, in the next 2 3 years that means I will no longer be useful. But definitely looking at this role, the roles of looking at the roles of artificial intelligence, it's enormous. It's like it's something that is very wild. It's very wide. For instance, for a company that does documentation and it's open source in the sense that like many people can contribute to this documentation. Now some people can contribute and they don't get to like look at your style guide, and for instance your style guide says okay, we use active voice instead of passive voice. Now these very little things that not everybody pay attention to, and then the person who is merging the pull request forgets totally that you should use active voice instead of passive voice, and it continues merging and merging pull requests. Then all of a sudden one day your manager is like, I'm seeing a lot of passive voice instead of active voice. Then you're not like faced with a large set of data, and you're like thinking, how will I start going through and reading through just to fix active voice and passive voice? Then you copy this whole, with the rise of artificial intelligence, you can just like copy this whole information and paste it on ChatGPT and like, or on any of the AI platform, and you're like, okay, point me to lines or point me to sentences where active voice is used instead of passive voice, or where passive voice is used instead of active voice. And then understanding that AI is a very brilliant tool, it will point you to those lines. So you can see like very strong and valid advantage of artificial intelligence in sense of technical writing. But you see, with all these advantages, with all these rules of artificial intelligence in technical writing, there are still some drawbacks and limitations. There are still a lot of drawbacks and limitations in the sense that, please, can you like move the slide to slide 12, to the drawbacks and limitations of AI. Now, there are a lot of drawbacks and limitations of AI. For instance, number one, AI cannot write original content in the sense that AI is feeding on data. Now, it does not just get all this information out of the blues or out of the moon. Like, it's actually fed with a lot of data. And for instance, you are in a company and the company is launching a product today. It's just going to launch the product today, and you're like telling AI that okay, write about Kinsta API, and Kinsta API is just going to be launched today. Now, understand one thing with this artificial intelligence is the fact that it's very smart, and it's, even though this thing is not yet launched, when you tell it to do something, it can give you lies beautifully. Like the way it's going to explain this thing, you would think it exists, meanwhile it doesn't exist. You're telling it to like tell you about Kinsta API, and you and I know that Kinsta API is going to be launched today, and then you're telling maybe ChatGPT to give you information about Kinsta API. It's going to explain it, maybe using information from Vercel API, Netlify API, competitors, and it's giving you this information like this thing exists before. So it actually fits on origin. It cannot give you it cannot write original content. So you can like see where we stand as technical writers, where we are very important. Because for instance, like a company cannot just switch to AI and say, okay, with AI, definitely technical writers, all of you are sat, we're going to use AI to start generating content. They actually still need like this human power, like this human experience to like still bring. And another thing is like you cannot rely on its accuracy. Many times if you are like, if you have interacted with these tools very well, you will notice instances where it's giving you codes or it's giving you sentences, and these things are not true. But for somebody who just believes that AI is spirit or is an angel and everything it tells you is true, and then it gives you this thing and you're writing an article on how to like perform post request in JavaScript, and it gives you this thing and you don't even verify it, you just copy and paste it, and you're like, hey editor, I've finished writing the article, here's the article. And then for an editor who does not really understand this, maybe JavaScript, he just fixes typo and the likes and he publishes that stuff, and then you are like putting yourself and the company at a very big, because you know humans like, oh my god, you gave me code that is not working, something like that. So, and it can give you out of date content. For instance, for like some companies, maybe post is outdated and we're now using get, and then the last time the AI was fed with information was 2017, and we just graded in 2018. And then when you are telling it this thing, it's not that smart, like know what is already in place because it's fed with data. And then it's giving you outdated content. And for somebody who does not make research or go the extra mile to make research, is using this outdated content. Meanwhile, the documentation already shows that this thing has been improved upon. So with all these drawbacks and limitations, you actually like see the place of humans, or we like potential technical writers, you see your place like for somebody who is ready to research, who is ready to like go the extra mile, Like you always keep bringing up like very important content. Now the major question is, will artificial intelligence replace technical writers? Please, like next two slides. And the truth is that it's two way. Yes, please next slide. It's two ways, yes and no, because it will definitely replace some people and it will not replace some people. So it's like a yes and no. Please next slide. But like the truth is, some technical writing roles will become automated because this is why tech exists. This is why the tech field is evolving day by day, and we're like looking for ways to like reduce manpower. If you remember, in the banking industry, there was once a time where people queued to like collect cash. Then ATM came, then the manpower reduced. The truth is, for instance, before documentation was printed, then the time came, it moved to the web. That means people who were responsible for doing that, they lost their jobs, right? But for somebody who scaled up, like, so the truth is, this is why tech exists. If you read this, somebody was like talking about I was into translation for, and he learned translation for a long time, and all of a sudden AI came and it replaced and it like took over their job. So next slide. So continuously new tools are introduced to automate certain aspects of your job on a daily basis. Like for instance, SEO, different parts of your job, and all what you have to do is you have to adapt. You have to like look for ways of scaling your skills, and you have to actually look for ways of scaling your. If not, eventually AI is going to replace you, because by the time you are giving the same output as an AI tool, then what's like your place in the company? Why are they paying you? So like, please next slide. Technical writing as a field will continue to evolve. Even as AI comes, AI fills in the gap of certain areas, like it will continue to evolve. There will always be like aspects where like the human reasoning, it will definitely be needed. Please next slide. So a lady, Amuda Rande, she said something. She said the key to long-term career in technical writing is awareness and adaptability. Awareness in the sense that, please next slide. Awareness in the sense that you're able to keep up with trends. You're very open to where the industry is going. You're not just in one corner and you're like thinking that everything is always going to work. You're like interacting with people. You are knowing the new tools that people are using, how they are using the new tools, and you are like trying to see what are companies willing to spend money on. Can they still spend money on documentation, or what aspect of documentation are they willing to spend money on, so that you guys scale up, you level up, like you learn new things. You don't just believe that okay, because I know how to use Reductly, Reduct.ly, that is just the absolute tool, and I'm not learning any other thing. Like you always like look for ways to scale up so that like you're not caught up. Please next slide. The major thing is for you to level up your skill and experience to make sure that you will be part of the next evolution of technical writers and not left behind. But like I said, in the aspect of people when documentation was still printed, for somebody who did not like think of it as like something that needed to like move to the web, like okay, I know that documentation is going to move to the web tomorrow, but I don't care. I love what I do. I love printing. I love this printing job or this formatting job that I do. And you're like, you're not like being conscious. So for those kind of people, definitely they'll be left behind. But for we that know that, okay, a new tool is coming out and it makes the job easy, definitely companies will be switching to that new tool. Like you keep learning because like, we live to learn as developers. Please next slide. So, and what I believe in is that content is moving to like the point of interactive writing. Interactive in the sense that we have demos, we have like people can easily practice like while reading the article. If you check articles written by this guy Josh Cosmio, something like that, he writes interactive guides whereby you are reading these articles and you're like seeing a code editor within the article where you can practice these things. These are stuff that AI cannot do, because like for instance, you are seeing GIF, you are seeing emojis, you are seeing something that is showing these things actually working. So like this is what people want. People want to be able to like test these things straight up, like immediately. So like the world is moving from like this normal writing where you're just like putting paragraphs together to where we can have demos like being implemented straight up in the article. My time is up actually. But that's like what I have to say about like the role of AI in technical writing. How technical writing, how AI is going to like, how AI is coming into the picture, and how you can actually stand out. Thank you. So, please, if you have any question. Okay, sorry. If there's no question, he said you should drop your headset on your chair while you move out. Thank you very much. Thank you.